Hello and welcome to a new year. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. I know I did. Good food, good fellowship, good games of Catan, absolutely crushed it. Anywho, the new year is very exciting. It feels like this big, beautiful, fresh start, like we can do anything we want to, be anyone we want to, pick up a new hobby, change our career path, adopt a new personality. Social media and YouTube in particular, I think, very much play into that. Everyone's sharing their goals for how they're going to be the best version of themselves and telling you how to set your own goals, whether those goals actually align with you or not. Initially, I thought about doing a "here's my New Year's goals" kind of video because I am excited about the projects that I'm going to be working on in 2025. But I don't want to be one of the many shoving my ideas at you right now, so maybe we'll just do a goals video later on. But for now, let's let this one simply be a cozy little break from all that. I'll be painting my new profile picture in my sketchbook and having a cozy little Q&A session. Y'all asked some really fun, really silly questions, and I'm excited to get into them. So without further ado, here we go. You have a free 2-week trip with all expenses paid. Where are you going, and what would you like to explore? Okay, this is literally my dream. There are so many places that I want to go, and I have not the money to do the going. So, all expenses paid. I'm gonna have to say Ireland. I almost went with Scotland. Like, the vibes are very similar. Also, my mom's side of the family is very heavily Scottish, so I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to visit the land of my people, I guess. But no, I'm picking Ireland. I have always been obsessed with Ireland, like the history, the culture, the architecture, the landscapes, the accents. I definitely would love to visit Kilkenny, like maybe see the Cartoon Saloon studio, maybe, you know? Drop in on the Butler Art Gallery, but honestly, I think just like kind of backpacking my way through Ireland and visiting like old castle ruins and painting the landscapes, I think that would be a dream come true. Is there a character you really want to draw but haven't yet? So I'm guessing you mean like a fan art piece of a character, so I would definitely say Hilda. Maybe do like a draw this in my style kind of spread in my sketchbook. If you watched this video, you know I'm absolutely obsessed with the show. The folklore is incredible. I really love the sketchy line art style and the limited color palette. Definitely one of my favorite shows and a character I'd love to do some fan art of. How would you describe your fashion style? I'd like to say that I'm an incredibly put-together person with a fully honed-in sense of style, but it's a little all over the place, if I'm being honest. If I had to put a label on it, I'd say, like, granola grandma? Honestly, that's just me as a person. A bit of a crunchy health nut, but still up for ice cream anytime, anywhere. Fun, but the fun ends by about 7:30 in the evening. Probably has something strange lurking in my pocket somewhere. I don't know. In terms of fashion, I like to be comfortable. If it does not move and stretch with me in any weird way that I choose to move or sit or stretch, I don't want to wear it. In the summertime, I'm a really big fan of jumpers and rompers. They keep me cool and allow me to move more dynamically, I guess. You know that scene in Luca where Julia's talking about underdogs and she's like,
you know, kids who are different, dressed weird, a little sweatier than average.
That's me. I'm a sweater. Gross, but true. Native, if you want to sponsor me, I'm available. Just saying. So anything that does not make that problem worse in the summertime, I'm a fan of. But when fall and winter roll around, I am all about cozy sweaters, joggers, fuzzy socks. So I have this skiing bunny sweater that I've had for literal ages that I got from a thrift store, and it is truly my most favorite article of clothing that I own. While we were shopping, my mom pointed it out ironically, like,
oh, here's a sweater for you.
But little did she know, it was, in fact, a sweater for me. It's the sweater for me. If it doesn't represent the quirkiness of my sense of style, I don't know what does. I do apologize if I sound a little gross today. I'm currently getting over a cold again, so, you know, bear with me. We're a little sniffly. What keeps you motivated when creating videos? First and foremost, passion for video making. I truly do love to turn my creative process into basically like episodes of an ongoing show. Of course, I have so much to learn about shots and lighting and pacing and transitions, but I love learning about it and I love exploring it. That said, there are loads of times where I don't want to edit a video. Where recording the voiceover takes 7 takes, or I have 20 hours of painting footage to try to cut down into a 20-minute video, or I just don't want to. There are a lot of mindless, boring parts that just aren't fun. So one of my tricks on a video editing day where I'm not feeling it, you know, and I know I'm gonna be spending hours at my computer, I like to get myself a little drink. If I'm feeling fancy, I'll make myself a matcha latte, iced or hot depending on the weather, or if I want something a little sweeter, I'll grab a can of cream soda Dr. Pepper. I'm not really a big soda person, but dang, that stuff is delicious. Seriously, when I'm sick with strep or just like a really sore throat, I basically live off of Dr. Pepper cream soda. Just popping in to share that my print pre-order sale is now officially live in my shop. I have a ton of new designs, some of which y'all haven't even seen yet here on YouTube, so that's a little sneak peek for you. If you've been wanting a new piece or have had your eye on an out-of-stock print, I'm very happy to say that they are all available right now. And you can use the code YouTube10 to save 10% off your entire order. The sale ends midnight CST on January 5th, so now's the time. Jump on it. And without further ado, let's get back to the questions. If you could design a custom candle, what would it smell and look like, and what would you call it? Also, how many candles do you own? I love this question. Abigail, thanks for asking this one. You know me so well. I have thought about this a lot. I would actually make a dual candle set. I think we all know where this is going. Bits and Bobbles themed. Candle number 1, Bobbles Kitchen. We've got all the delicious bread scents. Not overly sweet, more on the spicy side. I want to smell that dough rising in the oven. And maybe a little hint of like raspberry jam or something in the background. Cause you know he's munching on a PB&J while he bakes. Candle number 2, Bits' Workshop. So I think for this one, I would focus more on earthy scents, but still include a little bit of floral for her dried flower bouquets. So I'm thinking a bit of oak moss, some cedar wood, maybe a little bit of violet or lemongrass. Ooh, maybe some leather for how she binds the bouquets. I don't know. I think those would be really fun candles. Okay, how many candles do I own? I tallied them up and I own 21. And I'm not even ashamed about it either. I would happily add more to my collection. As you can see, most of these are mythology candles. I'm very clearly candle biased, but they do make the best, so. What do you think is your biggest challenge as an artist? That is a really good question. I think being a creative person is one of the most incredible things in the world, and in some ways, I think it's one of the hardest too. So I would say I have 2 big challenges. Number 1, not letting it become work. I talked about this a lot in my Healing My Relationship with Art journey last year. I'd let my art become work and work only. Anytime we monetize something that we love doing, it puts a pressure on it that can be very overwhelming. So I didn't love it anymore. Drawing and painting was a chore, and I just didn't have that passion for creativity anymore. I'd finish the workday and aggressively shove my sketchbook away. So I have healed that relationship, and I do believe that I'm in a good place with my creativity now. I'm excited about art again, but old habits and mindsets do creep in sometimes. So I have to be very careful to keep checking in with myself and make sure that I'm still in a good headspace. And if I start to get a little too productivity over passion centric, then I try to ease back a little bit and create something that's just for me. My other big challenge is that creativity is a 24/7 headspace. I am never really not thinking about art. I go for a walk and my brain is still thinking about ways to fix that patch in a painting. I'm eating supper and unconsciously making brushstrokes with my fork. Creativity is so deeply ingrained in me, and sometimes that's a little bit overwhelming. I feel like I don't ever really get a rest from it, if that makes sense. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's something I do have to be mindful of as an artist. Next question, I love the way you draw hands. Any tips? Aw, thank you. Hands and I, we're kind of frenemies. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I hate him. I do have a couple of tips though. Number 1, watch Marco Bucci's hand video. This was incredibly helpful for teaching me how to think about the hand in simpler shapes. Number 2, don't overthink it. Hands can smell fear, so try to get out of your head and trust that you know what a hand looks like. Number 3, you've gotta check out Blue Birdie's art. Whenever I want to study hands or feet, I always search up her work. She is the ultimate hand and foot inspiration. Seriously, look at this. Wow. And number 4, when in doubt, use references. Take a picture of your own hand and check your work. It's not cheating, it's using your resources. What's inside a snail shell? Wrong answers only. Ice cream? What else? How did you know you were ready to start an online shop? Did you prepare a bunch of prints and stickers, and did you have an idea of what your audience wanted? Full transparency here, I was not ready. I don't think anyone is ever ready. It's very nerve-wracking and 1,000,001 things could go wrong. But the biggest thing that could go wrong is not starting it in the first place, so I basically just jumped right in. I started off with an Etsy shop, which I don't know that I would recommend that. I think it's very difficult to get a shop really going on there, and they eat a massive amount of your profits. Starting my own shop on my website was definitely the better option for me, and I ended up closing down my Etsy shop almost immediately once I did. I actually get to keep my profits, and I don't have to worry about someone else being able to just shut down my shop, no questions asked. Okay, prints and stickers. I have made so many mistakes here. Starting out, I bought a lot of prints and stickers, and they cost me a lot of money. Yes, you have a lower cost per print or sticker when you order more of them, but that's only helpful if people are actually buying those prints and stickers. So I'd buy like 15 prints of a new design and sell 4 of them, losing me money in the process because the cost of getting the prints cheaper per unit was still higher than the profit I was making, if that makes sense. Basically, it would have been better for me to buy a smaller quantity at a higher cost and sell out of them than to buy a bunch at a lower cost and be stuck with them for the next 4 years. I'm still sitting on prints I made like 5 years ago. Stickers too. I have loads of sticker sheets that I bought in bulk thinking it was a good idea. Now I do think I've made back what I spent on those, but it took a while, let me tell ya. You also asked if I knew what my audience wanted. I did not. For example, I thought this design was gonna be a favorite when I first made prints of it, and like 2 people bought it. This one, I didn't think anyone would like, and I got several people asking me when I'd be reprinting more of them after I very quickly sold out of it. I've been doing this for several years now, and I still don't have a great gauge on what designs people are gonna like. That's why I love doing my print pre-order sales, because it takes the guesswork out of the equation. They say,
Hey, I want this, this, and this.
and I say,
Cool.
tally up everyone's requests and add it to my print order. Another thing that's been very helpful is buying stickers when Sticker Mule has a deal. Every so often they do like a 50 stickers for $20 deal, and I jump on those so fast. It's a great way to build up my sticker inventory without having to spend too much money on it. Would you be willing to do more of a day-to-day video as a full-time artist? I would definitely be willing to, but figuring out the logistics of how to do it is another story. So I use my phone to film my process and to record my voiceovers, so the setup is a little bit trickier than using like a traditional camera and microphone. Especially since I do use my phone for some elements of my work too. I can't really film myself making a Patreon post because I'm using my phone to make it. Also, no 2 days, no 2 weeks really look alike for me. I do try to have creative days and admin days to try to keep myself in the right headspace for my different tasks, but honestly, I'm kind of all over the place. It also depends sometimes on my extracurriculars or how many spoons I'm working with for that day. For example, I help with my church's youth group on Wednesday nights, so oftentimes Wednesdays are a little bit of a lighter work day so I can save some energy for the evening. What is your favorite animal? Dogs, 100%, no contest. I've always been a big animal lover, but dogs in particular truly have my heart. I want to pet every dog I see. I tear up at every dog rescue video with like the Sarah McLachlan song playing soulfully in the background. I watched every dog movie available growing up. Seriously, I love dogs. How do you teach yourself to draw in a position that is healthy for your body long term? That's a great question, and if you ever find an answer for it, please let me know. Sincerely, a shrimp sitter. All jokes aside, my posture is absolute trash, so I have no advice for how to sit. However, I do recommend getting up to stretch frequently or investing in a standing desk. I bought a flexi spot a few years ago and haven't looked back since. No regrets. I frequently shift from sitting to standing, whether I'm working on a painting or editing a video. How do you manage your time wisely with art, other life responsibilities, relationships, etc.? I don't. Story time. I used to be very disciplined, very organized. My time was very well managed. Spoiler alert, this was not healthy either. So I used to get up at 5:20 every morning to get in a little bit of yoga, eat my breakfast while I did my Bible study, and be at the coffee shop by 6:15 to get it open. I'd work till about 10:15, come home, finish my workout, have lunch, and work on my art and business till about 4. Then I'd have supper and work on it some more till about 7:30 or 8, go to bed at 9, and do it all again the next day. Every single moment of my day was budgeted, and I had no time for anything else. I was very unhappy. I missed out on a lot of time with my loved ones that I'm not ever going to get back, and I hated basically everything I was doing. The year after that, my body started to make some unwelcome health changes, and I had to learn how to do better, to have more grace on myself and not to micromanage every moment of my day. Since then, I've oscillated between following steady schedules and embracing more of a go-with-the-flow day-by-day attitude, and the truth is, it really just depends on the day. I personally think balance is relative. I think we all have seasons of our lives that look different because they have to. Maybe you're getting married and all your time is consumed with wedding prep. Maybe you're up for a promotion at work and you're putting in the 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5 to make sure that you get it. Maybe you've just had a baby and you're learning how to be a mom and learning who this whole new little life is. We can set schedules and routines, but the reality is they will not fit every single day of your life. And we can try to balance it all, but balance might look different on a daily basis. I think my biggest tip would be to make sure that your priorities are in the right places. Don't let the things that matter most to you fall by the wayside. And for me personally, I try to view my productivity and time management from a faith-based perspective, trusting that God is sovereign over everything I accomplish and everything that I don't. Do you have any core values or tips to keep art homeschooling for low spoon days or a health flare-up? Also, any tips for accepting days off? This is definitely a topic I would love to dedicate like a whole video to. For all my chronically ill creatives out there, I get it. I'm right there with you, frustrated, confused, discouraged, feeling all the things. Those low spoon days can be very brutal, especially when you're in a flare-up and they're just day after day after day. So number 1, this goes for both the low energy day and the day completely off. Have grace on yourself. I know I say this one a lot, but it is so crucial. You cannot expect your body to perform like an average person's, and you cannot expect your body to always be functioning at your own personal best. Barreling through a low spoon day trying to pretend it's a full spoon day is only going to rob spoons from tomorrow. I get it, you want to be productive, you want to keep pursuing your art education or your creative career, but you have to embrace grace and remember that your body requires rest. Number 2, focus on practice over ideation. So generally on low spoon days, my creative energy is very much down. I don't have the mental clarity to come up with ideas or make progress on a painting. Creativity requires its own stock of energy, and if you're already down, chances are your creativity will be too. So on those days, I like to focus on practicing technique or on studying something. practicing my line work on sketches I've already done in the past, picking an animal and filling a sketchbook page with studies of it. You're still moving the needle, but you aren't putting added pressure on yourself to come up with your own ideas. Number 3, reflection and gratitude. Let's be honest, having a chronic illness sucks. Your life is never going to look the way you want it to, and there isn't really anything you can do about that. Sometimes on that low spoon day, you just need to have a good cry. Have that time of reflection and take stock of your emotions. It is okay to feel what you're feeling. But on the other side of that, don't wallow in it. Follow that reflection up with gratitude. Remember the things in your life that are good, the things that bring you joy. Look back at the art you've made and remember how it felt to make it. Also take note of how you've improved since then too. Maybe you don't have the energy to create something today, but don't stop loving the creative process. Stay in it by bringing out your old art and keeping that spark alive. Even in this period of lower energy, looking back at your art reminds you that you are moving the needle forward. How would you pre-mix your gouache for an on-the-go travel palette? I wouldn't, actually. I don't really pre-mix my gouache. I'm a really big fan of keeping a limited color palette, especially for traveling. So my travel palette consists of black, white, a cool yellow like lemon yellow or primary yellow, a warm yellow like permanent yellow deep or chrome yellow, cool blue like primary blue or French blue, warm blue like cobalt blue or ultramarine, warm red like spectrum or scarlet, and cool red like carmine or primary red. It sounds counterintuitive, but having a limited color palette actually gives me so much freedom when mixing my colors on location. I have everything I need available to me for pretty much any subject, and the limited palette challenges me to take up my color mixing skills and to trust my intuition. If you could meet anyone for coffee or tea, dead or alive, who and why? Ugh, okay, this question is brutal. There are so many people I'd want to meet. My first instinct was Chris Hong because
It's Chris Hong.
but I think I'd have to go with Kazuo Oga. His paintings are just insane. If we could have like a little coffee and painting afternoon, that would be a dream come true. Just to sit there and observe and soak up all of his gouache knowledge. I would need a translator though, because I don't speak Japanese. And I don't think he speaks English, so. Anywho, thank you so much to everyone who asked a question. Y'all came up with some really fun ones. And thank you for joining me for this chatty little sketchbook painting session and for jumping into 2025 with me. And the biggest thank you to the cozy and curious creatives over on Patreon for helping to support my art journey. Y'all are absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited to share what I'm working on with you guys. If you're interested in another Q&A, then head on over to watch this video next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys!